Hello friends, I'm Jeanette and you're visiting the Neil's Homestead. Now this is number 6 of a series that I've been involved with in making impossible pie recipes. The impossible pie has opened me up to a whole world of possibilities. I've been dreaming about all the possible combinations of impossible pie that I can share with you and make for my own family. You can make sweet dessert pies, you can make main dish pies, you can incorporate meats and vegetables and cheese. You can do all kinds of things, and I think that your imagination is only the limit. Today we're making another main dish recipe, and it's going to be a little bit more exotic. It's going to have chicken and artichokes in it. So let's get going. Just to run down the recipe list again, we're using Bisquick mix, homemade Bisquick mix that I made myself, and the recipe for that is in the first video of this series. We're going to use half a cup of this. This involves flour, baking powder, salt, and butter. We're going to use milk. On all the other recipes, almost all the other recipes, I've used 2 cups of milk, but on this one today, we're only using 1 cup of milk. We're using 4 eggs. Today I'm using some frozen chicken that's already cooked. I'm going to take out about 1 cup. If you don't have already cooked chicken, I suggest that you cook your chicken before you use it in this recipe, because the dish doesn't stay in the oven long enough to fully cook the chicken, and I don't want anybody to eat partially raw chicken. So I'm going to cut this up into fairly small pieces. Now since I'm using frozen chicken, I'm going to either let it thaw out. I'll probably put this in the microwave for a little bit. I've got slightly more than 1 cup, but I'm going to call that good because I like lots of meat in my dishes like this. I'm finely chopping a little bit of onion, like maybe, this might add up to 1/4 cup of onions. Now you want to do it fairly finely because, again, this recipe only stays in the oven for half an hour, and it starts out fairly cold. So I think that if you have your onions in pieces too large, that they might not be cooked as much as you like. So I like to do it in small pieces. I grated some cheddar cheese for another recipe, and for this recipe I'm going to use 1/2 cup of my grated cheddar cheese. Earlier in the year I canned some cream cheese, and I'm going to use an 8-ounce jar of cream cheese, which is 1 cup. I opened an 8.5-ounce jar of artichoke dip is what it was called, but it's mostly artichoke hearts chopped up. I put them in a colander to drain, but not very much liquid is drained out, and I want this pretty dry. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and squeeze this, and I am squeezing some more liquid out. I want this to be fairly dry because we don't need any more liquid in our pie. Oh yeah, I squeezed out quite a bit more. We'll also be adding a little bit of cayenne pepper just to zing it up a little bit. Not much, just a 1/2 teaspoon. And then I'll be putting some salt in it, probably about a teaspoon. So the first thing I'll do to get started is to crack my eggs. Now these are our farm fresh eggs because we are a homestead and we have our own chickens. Next I'll add the milk, and I'll just stir while I add it to kind of do double duty. To finish out the basic ingredient, I will add in my biscuit mix. Now that comprises the base of the impossible pie. What you do from there is up to you. My chicken was frozen, so I put it in the microwave for a minute, so it's not quite so frozen. It's cool, but it's not frozen. And I think it's better if you don't put frozen chicken in here or frozen anything. So the chicken's first. We're gonna have the cheese, 1/2 cup of cheese, about 1/4 cup of finely chopped onions, since I'm stirring this a lot, I'm going to go ahead and add in the cream cheese. Now this is room temperature. As I said, I canned it myself. It's very simple, and one of these days I might actually do a video about it. It has a slightly different texture because it's been cooked, but it reacted the same whenever I made stuffed peppers out of it. Stir that around a little bit. It needs to be pretty well mushed up in there. Then we'll add a teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. We don't do too hot of stuff around here, but I think a little bit adds some flavor to it. Then finally, I will stir in my artichokes. I got quite a bit of liquid out of there after I started squeezing it. This artichoke dip actually has some green olives mixed in with it. I've buttered a nice heavy, it's a Pampered Chef pie plate, and I'll be putting my ingredients in there. Now you need to make sure you don't let this be too full because it does puff up a little bit and you don't want to mess in your oven. So after I pour it in there, I'm going to push it around a little bit to make sure that all the solid ingredients aren't piled up right in the middle and the liquid out around the edges. I've got my oven preheated at 400 degrees, and I think this will take at least 30 minutes to cook, and it might take longer. In 30 minutes we'll check it and see what it looks like. 30 minutes is up, and we're gonna see what things look like. I don't have to even jiggle that. I can tell that it's soupy inside, but to help, no, it's not. Well, actually that looked soupy in the middle, but it didn't jiggle at all, so I'm going to try. Now this is a deal where we put cheese in it, and okay, I believe it's done. It didn't puff up as much as some of the others have in the middle. It smells really, really good. So let me get it out and let it cool a little bit. We're going to eat this for lunch in its hot state, but I want to let it cool just a little bit. Well, it looks pretty nice. I think that it's going to be really creamy with that cream cheese in there and the cheese and all the ingredients mixed together. Let's see what old guy thinks. Are you going to play with your dog just before you eat? Yeah. You're building up your immune system. You're not afraid of any dog germs?
No. People germs, I'm afraid of.
Well, what have you been doing today?
Oh, been tilling more or less soil in number 4 house. Using forks on my bobcat and stick them in and lift them and just stirring the dirt.
That's some really deep broad forking, isn't it?
It is. It does a good job too.
Yes, it does. Okay, well, you ready for some lunch?
I'm always ready for pie.
Well, there you go. What you get today is chicken, artichoke, cream cheese, cheddar cheese, and I guess that's about it. Along with the regular ingredients of the Impossible pie.
Okay.
Is it very spicy?
Not at all.
Okay. I put a little bit of cayenne pepper in it. You're not detecting? Maybe I could have put a little more?
I might have got just a touch back on my tonsils right now.
And then how about the salt? You got plenty of salt today? You know, I saw you look over there at it. We have to salt everything. Uh-oh, there's no salt over there today. I guess I better go find the salt for you.
I'm getting lots of chicken so far, and it's very good.
Okay, so there's another impossible pie recipe on the books. There will be one more video about impossible pie, and I'll be seeing you next time. Thanks for visiting.
And I think this is the best one yet.
Well, that's good.